Hello everyone. Sandy and I have been up north on vacation, and it really feels good to be back home in Naples reporting on space exploration once again. While we're away, China was very active on several of their space missions. So today we plan to give you an update on China's recent activity. However, before we update China, NASA and the European Space Agency announced recently another launch delay for the high-powered James Webb Space Telescope. The James Webb Space Telescope is now being targeted for a launch on December 18th, more than 6 weeks after its previously set liftoff date. Unfortunately, this highly anticipated project has consistently encountered budget and schedule overruns since development began back in the 1990s. Hopefully this is going to be the last delay. Welcome to Reaching for the Moon, hosted by me, Ed Grace. China's Tianwen-1 Mars mission, which included the Zhurong rover and has been operating on the Red Planet now for more than 100 days, and the orbiter has likewise been orbiting Mars since February of 2021. Well, Zhurong is a 6-wheeled solar-powered rover that's traveled almost over a mile across the southern part of the Utopia Planitia. CNSA has stated that Zhurong's payloads have gathered and relayed back to Earth approximately 10 gigabytes of scientific data since its touchdown. During the next 50 days, the Earth, Mars, and Sun will almost be in a straight line, and the distance between Earth and Mars will be the farthest that it ever gets. During this time, the Sun's electromagnetic radiation affects the communications between the rover, the orbiter, and ground control. Thus, China has made a decision to suspend Mars operations for about 2 months, starting in mid-September. After they resume operations back in November, the rover will continue traveling southward toward an ancient coastal area on Utopia Planitia. It's a large plain within the largest known impact basin in the solar system. The Zhurong rover was initially expected to operate for only 3 months and has already outlived its projected life expectancy, with all of the scheduled predetermined tasks having been completed. The Zhurong rover captured this panorama of the Red Planet just before being shut down. Visible in the foreground are the Zhurong solar panels and communication equipment. Likewise, all of NASA's Mars rovers have exceeded their planned life expectancy and continue to send useful data back to Earth. China's orbiter will enter a new Mars orbit once communications are reestablished and carry out a remote sensing global survey of the Red Planet. The orbiter will once again continue relaying signals between Zhurong and Earth. The Tianwen-1 mission has been very successful for China so far, and all of the data collected after resuming operations will be a bonus. China has recently announced that it's investigating how to build an ultra-large spacecraft that will be about 0.6 of a mile long. What would that spacecraft of that size be used for? Well, 2 uses for such a spacecraft would be to host a manufacturing operation and for humans long-term living in orbit. Once mining on the moon and asteroids become real, the demand for such a spacecraft will also arise. That day is not very far in our future. This project is being managed by China's National Natural Science Foundation, a funding agency managed by the country's Ministry of Science and Technology. This image is a Long March 2F carrier rocket, which carried the Tianwen-1 spacecraft with the first Chinese crewed mission to its new space station from a satellite launch center in Gobi Desert. The Chinese astronauts recently completed installation of a robotic arm on the Tianwen space station during their second spacewalk. Tianwen-3, which is the next space station cargo supply mission, is being prepared for launch in mid-September from the Wenchang launch facility to provide supplies ahead of the Shenzhou-13 crewed mission, which is planned to replace the current crew and is planned for October. Finally, China launched 4 new communications satellites recently in 2 launches from different launch sites within hours of each other. The 2 launches were China's 30th and 31st orbital missions of 2021 and were carried on by the China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation. That corporation is planning more than 40 launches this year. Certainly a very active year for China in space exploration. Well, that ends our update on China's recent space exploration. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the like button as well as the subscribe button and notification buttons to receive an email every time Reaching for the Moon posts a new video. Thank you for watching. Remember always, failure is not an option. Bye.